morning, everyone, and welcome. Happy Wednesday. Good to see you. How are you, Fong?
Yeah, I'm fine, thank you.
Fine. Coco, good in Japan?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. And Alexander, you out there in China, all is good?
Amazing.
Amazing. And what about Hong Kong, Sherry? Good place?
Yes, very great.
Okay, that's good. Okay, here comes Taryn. Good to see you, Taryn, and good to see you, Stephen. Okay, today we'll be looking at a couple of things. So if you can get that worksheet open and just have a quick look. And you can see here today we'll be looking at critical thinking practice 2. And we'll be looking at the issue of being a vegan, yeah? So let's start with a few questions. So if you can open chat, I'm going to send you a question. Can we do what we did last time? Just a quick chat. I'll have several questions coming up. The first thing that comes into your head. So we're thinking about food today. We're thinking about diet, and we're thinking about diet in the terms of globalization as well. And we're thinking about diet in the sense of listening or reading someone's argument about why they want to be a vegan. Okay, so let's do the first one. Off you go in chat. Okay, why? To everyone. Okay, chat. Well, if you can put in chat, let me try again. What food could you not do without? Okay. Off you go. What food could you not do without? What food you say, well, I couldn't live without this forever. That'll be terrible. Okay, quick, zip.
Cereal.
Well, yeah, write it down, put it in chat, please. Let's use the chat box. What food you couldn't live without? Cereal, Aussie, Aussie meat pie. Okay, beef. That's interesting. Vegemite, beef, pork. Me, why eat animals? Why do we eat animals? Response?
Protein,
Why do we eat animals?
get nutrition and the protein from the meat.
Yeah, put it in chat, please. Off you go. So a lot of these questions I just want to chat. Let's warm up. Let's get going. Bit of chat. Why do we eat animals? We eat pigs. We eat sheep. We eat horses, some people. Nutrition, this is nutritious. We need the calories to get protein. Tastes good. Okay, that's a good reason. Okay. To live, you're seeing all the links that are there. Okay, another one, another quick question. Okay, let's try and think about in the next 50 years, look at this question. What will be the food of the future, do you think? What is the diet of the future? Yeah, capsules. Okay, one, man-made meat. Ah, interesting. A more balanced diet. Organic vegetables. How you going, Taryn? What do you think? What do you think we're going to eat? Game chicken. Okay. Okay, one last question. Good, if you're doing.
Appeal.
Okay. Last one. We're going to be looking at veganism. Okay, I'm sure you know about being a vegetarian, but last one. What makes up the diet of a vegan? So what are the elements of a vegan's diet? What are the key features, do you think, of a vegan's diet? A couple of minutes there. no meat. Vegetables. Vegetables. Eggs. Ah, let's go back about that one. That's interesting. No, okay, no forms of animals. Okay, let's just stop the chat there for a minute and let's just get a feel of what you know. Tell me about, Lee, what you think vegetarianism is from your experience. What would be a vegetarian?
Well, it means that those group of people don't eat any animals, don't kill them, and eat food from the forest, from nature. And well, I don't know.
Okay.
Are they eat eggs? Well,
Okay. Anyone else about vegetarians? Shirley.
They don't eat any animal meat.
Okay. Just animals? Yeah, like.
They only eat vegetables or some natural food.
Natural food? Sherry? What about fish? Do they eat fish?
Yeah, some of them are argue that egg is not meat or meat.
Okay.
So vegetarians get some
Yeah,
eggs, but others won't.
Okay. True vegetarian wouldn't eat fish at all either. So a vegan, what's the difference between a vegan? Anyone like to answer this question? Difference between a vegan and a vegetarian?
Vegan don't use anything from animal, and the vegetarian can eat eggs and milk. That's the difference.
Can you explain that a little bit further, Alexander?
Yeah, vegan is more extremely than vegetarian. Vegetarian don't eat animal, but eat something from animal like eggs and milk. And the vegan is more pure.
So anything that comes from an animal, like eggs, like milk, they wouldn't touch. What about, would they wear leather shoes, Alexander?
Shoes. Oh yeah, they don't use anything from animals.
So there's nothing used from animals. Okay, go to your worksheet. I would like you to try and take some notes, yeah? But mainly listen, but jot down some key points. So, yep, so we'll go to this video, and it's looking at a brief description of what veganism is. Okay, so let's have a look at this one. Tell me if you can see it or not. If not, then I'll come back. Good? Okay.
Yeah, we see it.
Okay, what are some of the key points you got down there, please? Howard, what are some of the things you've learned about veganism there?
It's difficult to catch.
Someone like to volunteer?
Vegan, vegetarians.
No, vegans aren't vegetarians. They might eat vegetables, yeah?
Yeah.
Their main food are vegetables and fruit, also beans. But some of them that like vegan don't get some cheese, milk, or eggs.
Right, there's no cheese, milk, or eggs, right? So there's a lot of vegetables, like Fong was saying. Well done, Fong. But there's also those elements that aren't included, which we would, as a vegetarian, might also consume. Okay, let's go to the second one. And the second one is more thinking about the impact of agricultural production, the need for food, and the effect it has on the environment, especially when we think about Western diets. So, for example, Stephen, you're living in Perth here in Western Australia, and you're from Vietnam. What differences do you notice in our diet, Australian diet maybe compared to Vietnamese diet? What's the major difference, do you think, Stephen?
I think the difference is in here people eat less salt in Vietnam.
Less salt? What about meat?
Meat, maybe more meat. In Vietnam, we just eat a little meat and eat more rice. In here, people often eat meat instead of rice.
Okay, meat, rice. Howard, what differences have you noticed here between a Western diet, an Australian diet, compared to the diet you have in China? Howard?
Me? Oh.
Okay, we've got here from Stephen. Stephen's saying here there's a lot more. I think you're saying you eat more, we eat less rice. When I went over to Vietnam, I noticed that there was a lot more use of vegetables, a lot more use of herbs than there is in Australia. That we have a very heavy meat diet compared to other East Asian countries I've been to. And I suppose the next video, what it's trying to do is to look at the impact of if we continue to raise cattle, if we continue to have to make what's happening to the world's population, it's increasing the need for food, what impact that will have on the environment. So we're going to the next one. Just give me a minute to download it. And wrong one. Okay. Okay.
I'm here now with Labour MP Kerry McCarthy, and this morning we're going to be talking about global food security, the environmental concerns surrounding food production.
Well, I think people just need to be very much aware of the impact of the Western diet on the environment as well. I mean, some people will become vegans because of health reasons, some because of concerns about animal welfare. But I think increasingly people are beginning to look at the impact of industrialised farming and the fact that we just cannot sustain a Western-style diet.
So that's what this video is going to be looking at. It's going to be looking at the impact a Western-style diet, which is very much requires a lot of meat, it requires a huge amount of acreage to produce food, and the impact that it will have on the environment. So if you can look at that aspect, okay? So think about veganism from our last video, and now have a listen to this one about if we continue with the Western diet, what that means for the planet.
The world's population is predicted to grow from 6.7 billion at the moment to 9 billion by 2050. And even if we don't have those levels of population growth, even if we stick to current levels, it's estimated that if everyone adopted a Western-style diet, we'd need 3 planets the size of Earth in order to sustain ourselves. A vegan diet is very sustainable because on average it requires 1/3 of the water and 1/3 of the land to produce a vegan-based diet than it would to produce an animal-based diet. And that's because farmed animals eat much more protein than they produce. Most of the protein that they consume is used to actually to live, to keep themselves warm, to repair injuries, rather than to actually what you could describe as grow milk, eggs or meat. More water and land is therefore needed to produce cattle feed, for example, which leads to deforestation, scarcity of water supplies, soil erosion, and the pesticides have a damaging effect on the environment as well. So we need to explore ways that are less harmful and wasteful and have less impact on our environment and on our natural resources. Some people ask me, well, what would happen to farmers' livelihoods if we all moved to a plant-based diet rather than animal-based? But obviously if people did do that, they would still be consuming crops that are actually grown by farmers. So there'd be a role for farmers to play to move towards a more sustainable way of farming.
Interesting. Just quickly, Tori, what did you find interesting about the second video? What was an interesting fact for you about the second video? I'll be asking a few people these questions. What do you think?
She said that the vegan diet only needs to 1/3 of the land and 1/3 of the water compared with the Western diet.
Yeah, great point. Interesting point to remember. Lee, what else did you find there from your notes?
I find that some vegan diet men have some reason but the most important thing is that industrialization farm, I think. Well,
okay, industrialized farms. Look, I'm going to put you into breakout groups. Can you go over some of those points and then we'll come back? Yeah. So look at, if you go to your worksheet that I've given you, look at some of those discussion points, but also just general discussion about the two videos, please. This is for a couple of minutes. Yeah. So let's go into our breakout rooms. Okay. Good luck. I'll see you soon. Yep. Think about it. Veganism. The planet, what is it? Do you agree? What are your thoughts? Okay, use your notes to help you there. I'll see you soon. Okay, have fun. Okay.
What is veganism?
What is veganism?
Yeah.
Veganism, I think it's aiming to protect the animals, and they don't eat anything from the animals and don't use anything made up of the animals.
Yeah.
What do you think about that, Phong? What's your opinion?
Veganism, I think people want to reduce the impact of animal-based foods to the environment, because they believe that plant-based foods are more sustainable. Yeah.
Could you become a vegan, Phong?
I'm not sure about that, because I'm still like to eat meat. Yeah.
Sure, but when you read, what was the population going to increase to by 2050?
9 billion.
9 billion.
Yeah.
9 billion.
Do you think that will force countries, or will force people to change their dietary habits?
Yeah, absolutely. Because of according to the video, the author says that if we adopt the Western-based eating style, we need 3 planets. Yeah.
3 planets, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to leave your planet right now. I'm going to go to another room, okay? See you in a minute. A few more minutes, yeah?
Okay.
Okay.
Hey, Phong, do you know some companies have already create the man-made meats in America?
Oh, fake meat, yeah.
Yeah,
no, real meat, but man-made. They come from the animal cell, and to proliferate, to produce the meat, but not from animal, from the cell in biology techniques.
I heard
everything such as the eggs and milks, and that the animal product is they don't eat, so it is extreme more pure than vegetarian. Well, I think, yeah.
Yes,
so,
Yeah, hi, you guys. What about when you looked at the figures? It said by 2050 the population would increase to how much? How many billions? Did you get that? 2050, the population of the planet should increase to about 9 billion. Do you think that increase? And you were telling me, Lee, I think it was you or someone was saying that there was 1/3 less water used being a vegan and 1/3 less land. Do you think that will force countries to change their diets? Do you think it'll force Australians to eat differently, or people in China and Hong Kong to eat differently?
Could you please rephrase it? You mean in the future?
Yeah, in the future, if there's going to be more people and less land, more resources that have to be used, like land and water, will that force us to eat differently in the future?
Well, it'll make us for everyone's diet that they need to because the population increase, the resource are shortage in some place. We need to build the factory to produce more food, and such as that. Rather than let the cows, let the chicken live outside the forest. Yeah.
Okay, great. Harrison, do you want to become a vegan? Are you a vegetarian or do you eat meat?
I think become a vegan or vegetarian is healthier, but but I think that I can't live without meat because I need to absorb the nutrients, the proteins from to sustain my life. You know, I think protein is very important. Yes.
You don't think we can get protein from other sources?
Yes, but it's less than meat. Meat has produced many nutrients, more than the vegetables.
So what about the future then? If we've got less land, less water, does that mean we can still eat meat?
Yes, I think this can force people to eat less meat and become a vegetarian. This may be a new style of life.
Okay, great. We'll see you back. We're going to leave the room, so we're going to come back now. And if you could get ready your worksheet, yeah? We'll have a look at that. Okay. See you soon. Okay. Okay, Eric, are you a vegan?
No.
Okay, you're not. With this evidence, let's try Taryn. Are you convinced that maybe we might need to change our dietary habits by 2050?
We both love fish. Me and Eric love meat.
Yeah, I know, but when we're looking at those facts, a few groups I visited, the facts are that a population's increasing, which means less land, more deforestation, more use of water. Do you think that's going to change the diets of people in the future?
Yeah, I see any sense, but the meat is still there, but the price is gonna go for higher and higher.
Oh, the price, the cost of meat will be a luxury good.
Higher. It's gonna be
Okay. Let's go now. I'm going to share the screen. I want to go to your worksheet. So if we go to the worksheet and we're just quickly, hopefully it's there for me. Yes, it is. Unbelievable, but great. Can you see that or not?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, great. Can you, well, I can do it too. Let's scroll down. Do you have discussion points? We're going to be looking at the reading today, and the reading, you know, is Why I'm Proud to Be a Vegan. I asked you to read that last night. Here is some of the vocab. So can you have a quick look at the vocab down here? Ridiculed, exploiting, vulnerable, status quo, preconceived bubble, oppressed, discriminated, morally bankrupt, activists, detractors, and vehemently. Just have a quick look at those and see the ones that you know. Any of those words that you do know, just tick them off, yeah? So the ones you know, give them a tick or highlight them. That's some of the vocab that you'll find today. Ridiculed. Yeah, to ridicule is to make fun of, to make someone feel small, to make someone feel awful. You normally ridicule someone to make them feel bad. It's not stop making fun. Like sometimes we have a joke with Harrison. That's just having a joke. But to ridicule is to make someone feel awful and to be made fun of. Exploiting. You exploit someone. For example, workers, you might exploit them by paying them less. Okay, you're using them. You're going to make a benefit from them in an unfair way. Vulnerable. If someone's vulnerable, they could be vulnerable. They could be physically vulnerable or emotionally vulnerable. Okay, you can read the rest by yourself. Great. So we should have a clear understanding what a vegan is. We should have an understanding of why there is an argument to become a vegan. And that one was environmental, wasn't it really? To sustain the planet, that this person on the video saw it as something that was sustainable. Okay, can you open your reading? Oh, before we do that, you'll be looking at your reading, but if you scroll down here, it's the same box as we've done before. So you're going to read it with a partner, okay? You need to explain. Let's just go through those boxes again. What's the author's purpose? What are they trying to do? Okay? Entertain, explain, compare, criticize, suggest, or persuade. So when you read that article, you're reading that for a point. What is it? Put it in the box. What is the main thesis statement? What is the main argument? What is their main point? Stop me if this is not clear, yeah? What's their main point? And then this third box, I've divided it this time up into 3 parts. And you can see here, find the claims. Claim 1, claim 2, claim 3, claim 4. Next to the claim, what is the evidence? Put the evidence next to the claim. And do you think it's valid? Valid, remember, means that it supports the argument. Yeah, that's a good thing to have. It's useful. And reliable, of course, means, is the source reliable? Can you trust the source? Does it have a date? Does it tell you where the source is from? How old is the source? Is it just from Wikipedia or is it from a journal? Okay, moving on.
Yep.
Okay, remember we talked about bias. So Taryn, what do you think bias means? Can you explain bias to us, please? Bias.
Subjective.
Again?
Subjective.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Someone else add to that, subjective? Yep, good language, well done. Bias means it's missing the opposite argument. Okay, it's only arguing one way. It's not putting in all the facts. It's just how they feel. And is the information up to date? Currency, remember, is the information up to date? Do you trust the source? So you need to find out where this article's from. Do you trust it? Is it reliable? Is it from a newspaper? Is it from a journal? Is it from a letter? Okay, they're the things you need to look at. Any questions about that?
No.
Yeah. So you need to read the article as you're going along the article with your partner. You might start to highlight things and you might start to put things into boxes. Now, I'm going to give you about half an hour for that and then we'll return. Okay? Anyone not clear about the purpose? What you're doing? You're reading it, you're highlighting all the claims. What is the author claiming? And then you're going to put the evidence and decide whether it's valid or reliable and fill in that box. When we finish that session, we'll then go on to doing the writing to prepare you for the test. Okay? Okay.